So another topic I want to discuss when it comes to Jehovah's Witnesses is the fact that they break their own policy all the time. And Jehovah's Witnesses are just cool with that. They don't even notice that it's happening or that what they're doing is wrong. The trust that Jehovah's Witnesses in the congregations all across the globe, the trust they have in the elders and the governing body is so complete that even when they break their own laws in front of their very eyes, nobody notices. Now, a big thing that I noticed, and I put this up in a group, and a lot of people agree with me and said it happened in their congregations too, so I know it's not just an isolated event in mine. One of the things one of the rules they always seem to break, which was the society kind of made their official stance on entertainment and stuff like that clear. They can discourage you from listening to certain types of music or watching certain types of films, but they're not allowed to mention things by name. For example, they can tell you not to listen to metal music or rap music. They can sort of say, a brother on the platform can say in his talk, metal and rock music and rap music and pop music can be very, very detrimental to especially young witnesses' mental and spiritual health. Rock music is often full of hateful and negative lyrics, often satanic lyrics. Rap music is full of bad language and violence. Pop music is very sexualized. Okay, he could say that much. And maybe then counteract it with a balanced view of, we have to choose our entertainment wisely, blah, blah, blah. But an elder or a speaker or a publication cannot, by their own society's policy, name names and deliberately or specifically ban Jehovah's Witnesses from listening to certain music or watching certain films or reading specific books. But they do. In my congregation, we had a visiting speaker who was talking about entertainment. And of course, he starts to talk about occult movies. Witches and wizards and things like that, and demon stuff and whatever. And that Jehovah's Witnesses, if they truly love Jehovah, they should exercise their Bible-trained conscience to reject anything that is tied with occult practices. And he actually specifically mentioned The Lord of the Rings as an occult movie that Jehovah's Witnesses should not watch. He said, it's a classic movie and based on classic novels, but we overlook the fact that it's full of black magic and things like orcs and goblins and things like that, and it's an occult movie and Jehovah's Witnesses should not view it. And I remember looking around at everyone, thinking, for some reason, like an idiot, that everybody would be thinking the same as me. What? You can't mention a film by name? I know loads of people who watch that film. I know loads of people that don't. I thought it was up to a Bible-trained conscience as to what you watch and what you don't. Okay, if it was something called the Poltergeist or something, which is obviously about demonic activity, then okay, I could almost imagine why you would say that film. But when it's a movie like The Lord of the Rings, which is like a fantasy mixed in with good and bad themes and stuff like that, it's that you can't just say that's a cult and then tell people they can't watch it. By your own policy, you're not allowed to mention things by name, and you just did. And the worst part was, nobody noticed. Nobody blinked. In fact, everybody nodded and wrote it down on their notes, and I just thought, what? What is going on? They're breaking their own rules, and nobody is even noticing. The same brother also mentioned a movie about a boy wizard who had a scar and is full of witches and wizards and good and evil and stuff like that. And we shouldn't let our kids read those books or watch those films either. Well, what movie or books was that talking about? Obviously Harry Potter. We all know it's Harry Potter. He's the only boy wizard in the whole flipping world that has a scar and goes to a castle with witches and wizards and battles a fierce wizard and uses magic. Of course it's Harry Potter. Everybody knows it's Harry Potter. And yet the brother somehow thought that by not mentioning the name, he almost sort of dodged that law of please don't mention things by name. But he's as good as saying what it is. And then on another occasion, I remember we had a talk and a brother said that the song Karma Chameleon was a bad song because a Witness family, when that song was first released on vinyl or whatever, a Witness family had bought that song and played it. and everyone in that household had demonic nightmares that night. And so they smashed up that vinyl and they told people that song was demonic. And so we were banned from listening to that song. Another elder, I remember he did a talk and was talking about a cult again, and saying that the trend of vampires had become very popular in that year. I think it was back in 2007 actually, because the Twilight movies had just come out. And of course there was a big hoo-ha and everyone was suddenly interested in vampires again, and it was sort of like a big trending topic. And so of course the brothers picked up on it and they mentioned it in their talk. They said, oh, vampires are becoming super popular and the youngsters are getting sort of drawn into that kind of thing, and it's occultism. And so these books about vampires, and it's all romanticized, and it was obvious he was talking about Twilight. And yet nobody sort of blinked. But they can't do that. That is just like one of the policies that they have, and yet they break it all the time. When I put it up in the group, a few people were like, yeah, we agree, we had the same thing. Someone said that they were forbidden from watching Tom and Jerry. That was mentioned specifically from the platform as a bad and violent cartoon, and that they shouldn't watch it. I also remember, actually now, another brother in my hall, he gave a talk about the way that men are viewed by the world. Because he was dealing with issues of headship and stuff like that within the family. And he specifically mentioned The Simpsons as a terrible, unchristian cartoon. Because of the way that Homer Simpson, who is the father and the head of the family and one of the main characters, the way that he is portrayed as a drunken, fat oaf. He's a stupid man, he's always making silly ideas and mistakes, he can't be trusted with anything, his wife is a sensible one, his daughter is a sensible one, but Bart and Homer are both portrayed as stupid, fat, greedy men or boys. And that constantly Homer is put down as the head of the family. His family laugh at him, his family chastise him, his family have to get him out of scrapes. Therefore, they said that The Simpsons is not appropriate viewer material for Christians because it encourages Christians to basically disrespect the head of the house because of the way that Homer Simpson was treated. That it encourages Christian wives and children to basically take the mickey out of their father and husband because they watch Bart do it and it's funny. They watch Lisa and Marge roll their eyes and despair and it's kind of normal. And Homer is the big dumb oaf who kind of staggers around in the cartoon and he's the comic relief. So all this time they're breaking policy. Another policy that they have, and they constantly break this, is